to say that it's very difficult for me to turn the page. When I left Forest, there was just something keeping me up at night, which was we got so near. And I've got to say, Natalie, before I move on to another chapter or the next page, I genuinely want to finish this task here.
You can't move on until you finish.
It's something that it's not a regret as such. It's a disappointment that we never got to finish off that job. And before I can turn to the next chapter, I want to finish the job off at this club for these fans. I want to get this club with an excellent staff, a great group of players, and a very ambitious owner and board to the Premier League. That's exactly what the target is now.
But what would it mean to you personally to actually get Forest back in the Premier League?
Well, having been there before, Natalie, having experienced what it feels like, this time around, I can tell you it's not about money, it's not about the adulation, it's not about the feeling. This is very, very personal on the achievement and proving the doubters wrong.
Why is it personal?
Because we've been, if you like, undervalued and undermined in the past so many times. And I don't think there was a lot of credit given that should have been given on the type of job that's been done. So therefore, for me, Natalie, to get this club to the Premier League this time around is very personal and would be an outstanding achievement to prove all those doubters absolutely wrong.
There has been the accusation that he interferes in terms of team selection, all kinds of things when it comes to management. Have you found that?
Well, personally, Natalie, it's the exact opposite for me. Fawaz has been nothing but supportive. He lets me go on with the training, he lets me go on with the games. He said to me already, bring players in if you need them. I've found what I've heard and what is supposed to have happened to be the exact opposite in my time at Forest.
Do you have more control of the club now than you have before?
Well, I've got to say that it's very clear. From a manager, all you want to be able to do is manage the players and manage the staff and manage the direction of the football team. What Fawaz has done so far is let me get on with the football stuff. Also, what he's done is he's asked me to also take part in the assessment and the analysis of the academy and the younger teams from the very young to the very old. And he's made that clear, Natalie. I've made it clear to Fawaz that I've got a big enough job to do looking after the first team. But as the Forest manager, I've always been very keen on youth. I've always been very keen on academy. Way back to my Motherwell days, when we were bringing through people like Pearson and McFadden and guys like that, young players. So I'm very keen to get involved at the club from top to bottom. But knowing fine well that we're trying to put the right people in place and then let them do their job, but to be assisted by the first team manager and his first team staff.
How surprised have you been with how good results have been in a short space of time and the response you've had from the players?
Well, I'm not fooled. I know that we've had a couple of good results, and I also know that they were in a very difficult league. I also know that 3 weeks ago there was talk of the demise of this club and how it was heading for very low league position, and there was all sorts of problems and issues, and they'd won only 3 out of 14 matches. We knew that, Natalie. So we know that having won a couple of games and done quite well over the last few weeks, we're not daft. We know that there's huge amounts of work to do. We know that we'll continue to do the best we can. We know there's only 11 matches left, and out of the 11 matches we'll try and win as many as possible. But the good thing is that there's a long-term strategy, and short-term, medium-term and long-term, both the chairman and myself know exactly what we're trying to do and exactly what it will take to try and get there.
Is this group of players good enough to get you into the top six? Can you get in the playoffs?
Excuse me for laughing, I've got to laugh because over the last couple of weeks, we've only been here a couple of weeks. When we first took over, we'd won 3 from 14. Everybody was talking about the club heading down a division. Everybody was pointing out that this was carry on QA. And in the last 3 days now, they've seen the exact opposite. being said. I've seen the expectation change, because now I see people talking about Foresters search for promotion, Foresters search for playoffs. Now, we've only won a couple of games. 3 weeks ago we were heading very much down the league, and everyone was writing off this group, everyone was writing off this club, and the chairman and the owners of the club were, as I said, carry on to it. It was the type of mindset, but we've won a couple of games. The expectation levels now changed in many people's eyes, and I do laugh when I see and hear about all these people now claiming over a 3-week period at Forest now search for promotion and search for the playoffs. We know what a couple of wins can do in this division, we know what a couple of defeats can do, so we don't get carried away, and we certainly don't listen.
3 wins in a row though, and a player like Vadim Maestri looking like a changed man. What have you done to change things around?
Well, 3 wins in a row for the first time this season, very, very pleased. A couple of good clean sheets, which is excellent. Getting goals from our midfield players that have got talent, important. Confidence is growing, no doubt. But all we're trying to do is change some things at the training ground, try and encourage players to improve little bits and pieces. Get them to understand the badge that they play for, the club that they play for, the tradition of the club, and also the expectation of the Forest fans, because they've been to the very highs of world football. They know how it feels. So therefore, what we try to do is remind the players that this is a special club, and this special club demands special attention and also special focus on trying to bring as much success as we can to this very kind owner, and he is a very kind owner with regards to what he's trying to do and the way he's approached things, but also a very ambitious one.
Is he genuine about the long-term future of Nottingham Forest, do you think?
Well, I do agree with you, but let me tell you this, the people that say that I'm bound to say those things will also tell you that I was also bound not to come back into an environment that I couldn't get the support that was required. I'm sure they would say that, and they're absolutely right that there's no way that myself and the staff would step back into this club unless there was a target, unless there was certain rules and guidelines and ambitions and things like that set down. So, we know what we're trying to do now. I know with the conversations with Fawaz what our achievements are and what they're trying to do and ambitions are. And the one thing I'm very confident in the person that I've met, I'm very confident in the conversations I've had, and I'm very confident that both of us very much sing from the same hymn sheet.
You're bound to say that Fawaz Al-Hazari is a kind, generous man. He's paying your wages. But are you convinced that he is here for the long term and he's genuine about Nottingham Forest?
How well do you know me? You know me, Natalie. You know that I don't play politics. I try to be as honest as I possibly can with regards to the ambition and what we try to do. And I certainly wouldn't be here, Natalie, if I didn't believe what the chairman was saying and I didn't believe the ambition was here.
And what would it mean to you to get Forest back in the Premier League?
Natalie, the last time with Nigel we hit the bar, we hit the post. We were very unlucky not to get there. I'm back here because I want to finish off that agreement that we had with Nigel Doughty previously. I want to try and do that now with the new owners in Fawaz and the people there. And quite simply, we want to try and finish off what we started, which is to get the team, the club, and these wonderful fans into the Premier League.
How much fire in your belly is there for that, though, for actually doing that? Emotionally, what would it mean to you?
Well, of course, it's something that drives me on, if you like. I'm back here because I genuinely couldn't sleep at night thinking that we were so close. And I really wanted to finish that. It was something that was burning away inside of me that I wanted to finish that because, we did have that agreement in place, that was the target, that was the ambition. We did hit the post, we did hit the bar. And then, of course, when this opportunity came up with the new owners, there's no doubt that it's something that sits very, very dear to my heart, which would be to take this club and with these wonderful fans, because the Forest fans have been excellent to me over the period, Natalie, and I would just love to see them celebrate the day that we get this club to the Premier League.